Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Noraini Jeli binti John Minggu. Today, I will be presenting thesis about the efficiency of financial institution in Malaysia through various financial ratio. In this presentation, contain 5 chapters, which are the chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 is literature review, chapter 3 is data and methodology, chapter 4 is finding and discussion, and the last chapter is conclusion and recommendation. For chapter 1, I will introduce about problem statement, research objective, research question, scope and limitation of the study and significance of the study. Bank overall financial stability can be effectively measured by their profitability. Banks with higher profit are better able to weather economic storm and absorb losses. ROA and ROE are two examples of profitability ratio that can be used to judge a bank's strength and profitability. In this research, we use 6 examples of bank which are CIMB Group Berhad, M Bank, Alliance Bank, HSBC Amanah Malaysia Berhad, Maybank Islamic Berhad, and Hong Leong Islamic Berhad. We choose the top financial institution in Malaysia and include both conventional and Islamic bank. As we know, financial institution refer to a company or organization that provide financial service and intermediate between saver and borrower in the financial market. Next, I will move to the problem statement. In this research, the problem statement is to investigate and understand the factors that affect the profitability of both Islamic and conventional bank system in Malaysia. The primary focus on this Malaysian banking industry and the goals to shed light on the factor influencing the profitability of Islamic and conventional bank in this country. Next, for the objective of study, to achieve better result, better objective must be clear as to address the issue of the problem which serve the guideline that is to be studied in this research. There are 2 objectives in this study. The first one is to analyze the efficiency of financial institution in Malaysia using the selected financial ratio. The second one is to examine the relationship between selected financial ratio with the efficiency of financial institution. Next is research question. For research question, there are 2 questions. The first one is, do the selected financial ratio can be used to analyze the efficiency of financial institution in Malaysia? And the second question is, do the selected financial ratio affect the result of the efficiency of the 2 types of banking institution in Malaysia? For the scope and limitation of study, data from the year of 2017 to 2020 was collected from 6 banks consisting of 3 Islamic bank, which is Hong Leong Islamic Bank, HSBC Amanah Malaysia Berhad, Maybank Islamic Bank, and the 3 conventional bank which are CIMB Group, M Bank, and Alliance Bank. Among the various financial ratios available to measure a bank profitability, the research focus on 2 key indicators, which is return on asset ROA and return on equity ROE. These variables were chosen due to data availability and their significance in delivering promising insight into a bank's profitability. The study aimed to provide value findings that contribute to the understanding of the profitability of financial institutions in the Malaysia banking sector. For the significance of the study, the report aims to provide analysis and potential investors with a comprehensive understanding of a company's performance compared to its competitors. The study primarily utilized various ratios to gain insight into the profitability, efficiency, and resources utilization of the bank's profitability ratio are particularly important as they help assess a bank profitability performance, comparison, efficiency, and overall financial health analysis. Moreover, this research holds potential to contribute to policy intervention. The profitability of bank carries significant implications that can impact policy decisions. For the next chapter, which is chapter 2, will explain about theory, profitability, literature review, and conceptual framework. In this chapter, the efficiency in the banking sector is essential as it ensures many factors including the financial stability, capital formation, and efficiency in risk management and the bank's customer confidence. The factors that determine the bank profitability have been the subject of a great number of studies, each of which has utilized multiple types of research methodologies. However, there is still an abundance of disagreement and ambiguity regarding the factors that have been greatest impact on the profitability of banks. The main point of this literature review is to discuss a crucial and comprehensive analysis of the existing research paper on the factor that lead to the bank's profitability. Next is theory profitability. In this research contain three of profitability. The first one is dynamic theory of profit. Second one is risk aversion theory, and the third one is efficient structure theory. Next is the literature review. In the literature review contain five items, which is return on. The first one is return on asset. Return on asset, which is ROA, is a financial ratio used to assess a company's profitability in relation to its total asset, indicating its efficiency in the generating profit from those assets. Second one is return on equity, which is ROE, is a financial ratio that measures a company's profitability in relation to its shareholder equity. It provides insight into how effectively a company utilizes its shareholders' investment to generate profit. The third one is total equity to total asset. The total equity to total asset ratio, also known as the equity ratio, is a measure used to determine the proportion of a company's total assets that are financed by its shareholder equity. The fourth is total loan to total asset. The total loan to total asset ratio is a metric used to determine the proportion of the company's total assets that are financed by loan, indicating the reliance on debt financing for asset funding and providing an estimate of the company debt burden. The last one is total deposit to total asset. The total deposit to total asset ratio is a financial metric that indicating the percentage of the company asset, typically a bank, that are financed through client deposit. Next, let's move to conceptual framework. In this research, use two dependent variables, which are ROA and ROE, while independent variables have three, which is TETA, TLTA, and TDTA. The main objective of this study is to examine the crucial financial ratio that determine the efficiency of both Islamic and conventional banking institutions. The research focused on 3 samples of conventional bank and 3 samples of Islamic bank in Malaysia. In chapter 3, we will explain about research design, data sources and regression level, data collection, measurement and description of variable, research framework, model specification, hypothesis development and testing, diagnosis, testing and estimation procedure. In this chapter, financial data from selected Malaysia financial institutions spanning 2017 to 2020 were collected from a bank's website. Additionally, data from the World Bank were used for certain analysis. This study focused on independent variables such as total equity to total asset, total loan to total asset, and deposit to total asset, while the dependent variables are written on asset and return on equity. For the research design, this study examined both the interest-free Islamic banking system and the interest-based conventional banking. The research aimed to determine whether there are difference in profitability between Islamic and conventional bank and to identify factors influencing their profitability. The study analyzed data from 2017 to 2022 to assess the efficiency of selected Malaysia financial institutions using various financial ratios. The COVID-19 pandemic negatively impacted the profitability of both Islamic and conventional banks, leading to the financial crisis in Malaysia. For the data sources and regression level, in this study, samples were taken from three Malaysia Islamic Bank and 3 Malaysia Conventional Bank, and the information was taken from a bank financial report. This study looked over the period from 2017 to 2022. The investigation goals required the use of secondary data. All of the information was acquired from the bank's online website, which were the only sources used. To get the data required from this study, both Islamic and conventional bank annual report were looked through. For the data collection, for analytical of research objective, data collection is methodology acquiring and recording information from diverse sources. By structuring the data, it guarantees accuracy and dependability. Data gathering has many different purposes, including information acquisition, supporting research, theory testing, performance monitoring, program analysis, and decision making. Based on the research the data for this study was gathered. It used quantitative data and it's based on the secondary resource. For the measurement and description of variable, this section explores the crucial idea of variable, which are measurable characteristics that can take on different value. Meaningful observation, comparison, and analysis depend on this variable being defined and qualified. The study goes into detail about the dependent and independent variable used to achieve the goals outlined in Chapter 1. The independent variable serves as a framework of evaluating and testing the dependent variable, frequently serving as a proxy for the desired result. This strategy is supported by early research where pertinent variables were used in relevant examination. Testing and measuring the dependent variable are made easier thanks to the foundation built by the dependent variable. For research framework, the plan of strategy that guides the creation and execution of a research study is known as a research framework. It provides both of methodological approach and logical framework for doing research and addressing the objective and problem of the study. This research framework of the study, which was divided into the section based on the estimate approach, it is illustrated in this section. A static panel analysis of the study which examines the correlation between the independent and dependent variable. For the model specification, this study employs a statistic panel model for data analysis focusing on multidimensional and data collected over the span of time. Observations were made over multiple time periods for various financial organizations in Malaysia. The analysis is conducted using a static panel model under a random effect framework. Next, for the hypothesis development and testing, the study hypothesis is crucial, implying that change is one of the variables lead to change in the other. The relationship between the IV and DV is directional, aimed at indicating the evaluating the efficiency of financial institution, specifically higher value of DV, return on asset ROA, and return on equity ROE significant gather efficiency in Malaysia financial institution. The study tests whether the independent variable, namely total equity to total asset, total loans to total asset, and deposit to total asset, impact the independent variable, which is ROA and ROE. For the diagnosis testing, in order to maximize the information in the study, diagnosis testing is one of the essential methods. Additionally, it is a guarantee that the research will contain reliable data in order to prevent implication. We run a number of tests, including the panel unit rod test, probability test, heteroscedasticity test, and serial correlation test because the research used static panel analysis. For the estimation procedure, after establishing the problem statement, the research focused on the two main objectives. First, analyze the relationship between selected financial ratio and financial institution efficiency. And the second is monitoring the overall performance and stability of Malaysia financial system. Data spanning 6 years was collected for year bank under study. Panel data, underweight unit root test, and p-value were calculated to determine significant to proceeding a probability analysis of first-order data differences. Next, for Chapter 4, we'll explain more about the finding and discussion. The analysis and the conclusion from our study we covered in this chapter. In our analysis from the year 2017 to 2022, we selected 6 samples of banks that operated in Malaysia throughout the time. For descriptive statistics of ROA, the data set comprises 60 observations and ROA has a mean of approximately 0.555, indicating average profitability with significant variation and a skewed distribution. TETA means it's 0.085, reflecting equity allocation relative to total asset with slightly skewness and moderate quartiles. TLTA means of 0.701 represent loan allocation relative to total assets skewed negatively and moderately leptocrutage. DTA means is 0.661, indicating above average deposit allocation relatively to total assets skewed negatively and highly leptocrutic. For the ROE, the table, like the previous one, encompasses 36 observations. ROE mean of 6.207, indicating an average level of profitability relatively to shareholder equity. Considerable variability is indicating the standard deviation of 6.557. The coefficient, the average ETA is from negative 23.0 to 13.8 with a skewed distribution and exceeding moderately heavily tiled pattern. Deemed statistically insignificant. The coefficient between the variation and its variable ROA. On the other hand, TLTA and DTA is coefficient is 0.765 with a t-value of 1.75, indicating a perfect slightly below significant relationship. The correlation p-value of ROA is at 0.1567. Next, for ROE, suggesting a relatively weak positive correlation of is negative 95.227, which is indicating a negative relationship with ROE. However, the t-value of negative 0.8 at correlation coefficient is 0.269 with a p-value of 0.39 between this variable. The correlation exceeding the significant level of 0.2010. The TETA does not weak positive correlation and DTA and ROA have a weak correlation coefficient of 0.0702. VIF value for TETA, TLTA, as well as TTA indicate minimal correlation coefficient. The highest VIF is 1.8 close to 1, 0.67 weak correlation between this variable. This implies weak correlation between overall the analysis LTA and DTA overall. The overall data indicate ROA and insignificant concern of multi-collinearity among these variables, supported by VIF value below 2 and for the average VIF of 1.5, suggesting minimal multi-collinearity relationship with a coefficient of negative 0.0283, implying no significant correlation between TATA and ROA in measuring company profitability. TLTA and ROA show a small positive relationship, while TLTA and TETA have weak positive correlation. DTA and ROA display a very weak positive relationship, indicating minimal correlation. DTA and TETA exhibit a moderate relationship, and DTA and TLTA demonstrate a strong positive correlation. Next, we move to BPLM and Howman specification test for ROA. The obtained p-value is 0.2588, surpassing the conventional significant level of 0.05. This suggests that the error term of variability within this model remain relatively consistent across independent variable labels. Consequently, this assumption of home scarcity and stratified, implying that the variance of the independent variable remain constant across the data. Thus the result from standard ordinary least squares regression are considered valid and reliable for internal purpose. For ROE, the p-value of the BPLM test is 0.0348, which is less than 0.005. This show that the theory is significantly supported by the data, and that the random effect model is appropriate for understanding the data. This investigation also used the Howman test to evaluate which model fit the data better, fixed effect or random effect. The Howman test is used. The finding reveal a p-value of 0.6262, which is higher than 0.5, and this study will use a random effect. Chapter, which is chapter 5, content conclusion, practical implication and recommendation for all the whole thesis. For the conclusion, the study aimed to assess the efficiency of financial institutions in Malaysia using financial ratios, specifically return on asset and return on equity, as a dependent variable. Independent variables include total equity to total asset, total loan to total asset, and total deposit to total asset. This evaluation is essential for stockholders to make informed decision, monitoring financial stability, and understand the sector's contribution to the economy. The research employed panel regression and covers 6 years of data 2017 to 2022 for Hong Leong Islamic Bank Berhad, Public Islamic Bank Berhad, Maybank Islamic Berhad, CIMB Group Holding Berhad, RHB Bank, and Alliance Bank. The analysis reveals a significant connection between independent and independent variable, indicating financial institution efficiency. Descriptive statistics show TETS positive skewness, implying high efficiency. The regression analysis indicating a positive relationship between TLTA and efficiency, while the other variables show negative association. Robustness checks strengthens the result, supporting the hypothesis that independent variables significantly influence financial institution efficiency in Malaysia. For the practical implication of these academic results are outlined in the conclusion. The study's findings centered on factors like total equity to total asset, total loan to total asset, and total deposit to total asset have significant implication for Malaysia banks' return on asset and return on equity. Stockholder, including investor, depositor, and shareholder, can utilize this insight to evaluate financial institution health and make informed investment decisions. The research contributors of the understanding of financial relation efficiency in Malaysia, providing a foundation for future investigation into this suggests the impact on bank performance. This study adds a research community financial participant and potential investor in enhancing stability, contributing to Malaysia financial system and making well-informed choice. Is supported by the p-value of zero, which provides the strong evidence against assumption based on the information we can conclude the heterogeneity exists for the recommendation. The study emphasizes the significant influence of the total loan to total asset ratio on both return on asset and return on equity for financial institutions. Maximize the TLTA ratio can enhance total profitability, suggesting a balanced approach to maintain loan in proportion to asset. For the prospective investors should consider TLTA when assessing Malaysian bank as a positive correlation between TLTA and financial efficiency indicated managing institutions. But future researchers should explore how zero factor and other financial ratio impact the performance of Malaysian financial institutions, considering aspects like asset quality, liquidity, and capital relationship involving sufficiency, the variable ROA, and independent variable. For the ROE, in this context, the calculate of F statistic of 32.232 reveals a significant departure from the assumption of no serial correlation. The obtain of the p-value of 0.0024 strongly support rejecting the null hypothesis of no serial correlation, given a significant below the typical threshold of 0.05. The result suggests the compelling evidence of serial correlation with the relationship involving the variable return on equity and dependent variable. For the hypothesis testing, ROA and all of the independent variable, total equity to total asset TETA, total loan to total asset TLTA, and deposit to total asset DTA based on the finding below. All of the results are the reject null hypothesis as all the p-value is less than 0.05. Next, for the result of statistic panel data analysis, the coefficient of TETA is negative 16.764, indicating the statistically significant negative impact at the 0.001 level. A 1 unit increase in TETA corresponds to the decrease of 16.764 unit in ROA. The large standard error emphasizes the need to carefully assess the statistical significance of TETA. Overall, fixed effect regression analysis suggests that TLTA positively affect ROA while TETA and DTA have negative effect. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.